Hey, what's going on, y'all? Thank y'all for tuning in to another D. Elliott Fitness live stream show. And today, what we got going on for you, this one is going to be some esoteric knowledge, understanding what happens to the body internally, and it's speaking on particularly about whenever the moon is full. I've only watched the intro of this show, which I thought was pretty interesting. I had to stop it because I want to go ahead and watch the rest of it with you guys to get a full reaction to it and get a complete understanding and have some commentary going along the way and to sit down and better explain to get an understanding as to how this stuff works. And I think it's really insightful from what I've seen from the intro and gives you a better understanding on how the body works and things that you could do to tune into your body to elevate you to a higher consciousness level, and also using your fitness and everything else to tie into this and really just gives you better along the journey along the way. Because, of course, the times that we live in, it requires a different mindset and a different way of moving towards what's going to happen in the future. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get moving and get you into this video. I really think you're going to enjoy this one. At least I hope you enjoy this one, because personally, from what I've seen in the intro, this looked like this is going to be a really interesting video, just like the others. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's get it. All right, let's see. And here we go. And then if the video is not loud enough or too loud, shoot me in the comments section. Let me know.
The following is a mystical activation that summons an octave of ancient energy to enlighten and heal your life. If the moon enters your sun sign, a strange process emerges. Agua Florida, sage, cedar, palo santo, tobacco, and so on, preferably when the moon is visible. But there are no rules. The seed enters the solar plexus and descends all 33 vertebrae, bursting each chakra along the way. Multiply the number of petals on the Hindu chakra system by 1,000 for the lotus crown chakra. You get the 144,000 saved souls mentioned in the Bible, as well as the 144,000 twin flames of the New Age movement, and so on. Furthermore, for most of us, 12 times 12 equals 144 was the pinnacle of our mathematical education. We exchanged mythology and numerology for math, gematria for geometry, and astrology for astronomy. It's critical to understand that this accommodation occurred. To understand the universal mind, remember that there are feminine mathematical arts that decipher life's rhythms. It's actually what our history is made of. Entire cities are designed with this in mind. Complete university curriculums are encoded with this in mind. With this knowledge, we can create beautiful wisdom to guide and stabilize our divine awakening journey. This is why Jesus was crucified at the age of 33. Atop the 33 vertebrae is a cross, a junction point of two nerves that leads to the pineal and pituitary glands in heaven that heaved up the place where heaven awaits the prodigal son's return, the chrism seed. Following the successful reception and protective levitation of speed, spiritual germ produced by the moon in your sun sign, thousands of dormant brain cells are activated, and the process of recycling your old blood into new blood has enormously restarted. The age-old secret of physiological regeneration, retained by the elders for us, right under our noses all the time your Santa Claus comes down the funnel, spinal column, and leaves gifts from the North Pole, cerebrum, most high, is made in the land of elves, or leaves coal if you've been bad. Saint Claustrum or Santa Claustrum is an area of the brain that secretes regenerative divine gifts, regenerating cerebrospinal fluid when you are good, mana from heaven, and neuromelanin, released with anger and chronic addiction, blacked out, and brain damaged. AKA, Claustrum offers black coals instead of gifts. The roots of this wisdom are connected in similar
Hold on for 1 second. There's a lot of bombs being
esoteric
dropped. Whoops.
lineage.
Whoa. Easy there. There's a lot that was just said, and that was past the intro, to be quite honest with you. One of the things they talked about, they said that millionaires do not follow astrology, billionaires do. That's interesting. And not even just that, but speaking on the vertebrae in the spine, and they even tied it into biblical terms, and as well as speaking on the um, how astrology was changed to astronomy, how gematria was changed to geometry, how the study of things changed as well, which is really interesting because it's taking us away from one thing and bringing us into another. But as we all know, the old way never goes away. Like nothing is new under the sun. You know, um, methods are many, but principles are few. So looking at it from that perspective and how they tied all that in together, and they went mind, body, spirit, and finances. They took it all into context just in this little short, 3 minutes that we've already been on this video. So yeah, this right here is starting to set off on a really good pace. So I'm already past the part of the intro where I haven't seen. So right now, all reaction, all new to me, just like you. So let's keep going.
Doubt, and brain damaged, aka colostrum offers black coals instead of gifts. The roots of this wisdom are connected in similar esoteric lineages in which the overseers have a strong interest. Kabbalah, Freemasonry, Rosicrucianism, and other mystery groups are all descendants of the mystery schools. They are an integral part of why the superiors sincerely believe they are wiser than us, and that their path of collateral damage is of the highest order. These inverted teachings implore to be confronted with some modest
To succeed.
No. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a minute and talk about this while I get us past this little bitty ad right here they hit us with out of nowhere. Shout out Fair Use and shout out to who we have here. Be Inspired is where this video is coming from right now. So shout out to them for dropping this gem on us. Thank you so much for that. But as far as this video goes and what they're talking about and everything, they're speaking on basically raising your seminal fluid, your semen, and retaining your vital fluid and raising it up. And instead of releasing it down in lower chakras like we do whenever we ejaculate during any kind of intercourse, raise it up. Do it the opposite way because we can release it and procreate and create a human. But what they're saying is go the reverse way because the law of polarity is in effect. So instead of releasing it, try not releasing it and building it up and then using it internally instead of externally because you can use anything in two ways. Anything can be used in two different ways. That's a law of nature. So they're speaking on using it the opposite way, a way that we're not taught to ever use it or ever spoken about, which is also crazy because in today's world, what do we see? A high level of hedonism, a high level of it. And all the negative effects that comes with releasing your semen, as I posted or I've made previous live streams on this. If you go back to my other few live streams where it talked about the detriments and downfalls of constantly releasing your semen and not doing semen retention. It had a lot of a lot of negative effects about it. Just high anxiety, anger, irritability, lower back pain, weakness, loss of testosterone levels, just feeling like a weaker person, cloud mind, bad, poor judgment, like a not clear thinking. All these things play into effect, and even cancer in some cases. So seeing this, and then they tied it into people like the Freemasons, the Rosicrucians, and all these different other cults, and these occult people. And when you hear a cult, people normally tie that into a bad thing. You hear a cult, and normally people think Satan, the devil, evil. But at the end of the day, like a previous live stream even mentioned before, a guy said, people will get this knowledge and then have other people use it for evil or for bad things. So you can use this and attain the higher level of thinking. However, how you use that higher level of thinking is up to you because, again, the law of polarity is at play. You can use it for good or you can use it for bad. I'm always a believer that if you use it for bad, there's going to be a condescending consequence that comes with that down the line. If you use it for the greater good, you should be good. So With that being said, let's continue on. I don't want to ramble on too long because we still got a good ways to go. It's just the beginning. So, yeah, let's keep it up and let's keep going and get it back to it. Let's go.
The claustrum activation technique is a broad technique that has the potential to cause massive shifts, not only in your own physiology, pranic consolidation, but also in the realms of the inverted esoteric realms. Within this activation, the 33 vertebrae you climb create a diffusion point towards healing the 33 degrees of Freemasonry. This is just one of several healing points. The next one is Jesus Christ, Christmas. If you choose to start this process, may your work bless the divine essence of Yeshua, Mother Mary, Radha Krishna, and the surrounding mycelial and mineral networks. According to ancient Hermetic wisdom, our entity's alchemical instruments can transform spiritual lead into spiritual gold. According to Santos Bonacci's lifelong study, all Gospels, God spells, are instruction manuals of physical and spiritual regeneration. This is the Cabal War Machine's kryptonite as it fosters extended life, fifth-dimensional living, pranic metabolism, daily vision quests, the quantum elimination of suffering worldwide, and so many more presents down the Chi-Ni. The greatest of secrets. Ancient people taught this. It's in the Bible, all of the legendary books, and all the characters in the body. Your body represents the Holy Land.
And one thing I want to point out, he was speaking that all historical and religious texts and history books have speak on this, and trying to understand that if you're one that says that this is not taught, it is, because there's an exoteric knowledge and then there's an esoteric knowledge. Exoteric knowledge is external, literal meaning. Esoteric knowledge is internal, the internal meaning. Kind of like having to read between the lines and decipher the code on how it's being spoken to you. So yeah, I just want to throw that out there.
A sacred secret is kept hidden from the people. The esoteric science of physiological regeneration is the key to unlocking this secret. The terms esoteric and exoteric are used interchangeably. Our bodies have the ability to produce new blood and reactivate millions of dormant brain cells. The sacred science of physiological regeneration is also mentioned in the Bible through allegorical stories. There's a lot more to it than that. When new blood is created, the body's mechanisms eliminate the old toxic blood. Astrology is a component of ancient syncretic knowledge. Astro refers to the stars, and logos is the Greek word for reason. The term logos has developed into something more mysterious, alluding to a divine source language much of the time. Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci knew about these insider facts. Do we now see that all fields of study have their ology, or root, in the logos, based in reason? Or is it based on the mystery? Maybe even root for the stars. When the moon is in the sun sign that you were born under, your cerebrum secretes a secretion 12 times a year, or once a month. This is the story of Jesus and his 12 disciples. Throughout the year, the sun moves through the zodiac's 12 signs. We have 12 cranial nerves, 12 bodily systems, 12 petals on the heart chakra, and so on. This illustrates the as above, so below principle in action. Oil of the Christ. This is the Christo.
One quick thing, I do want to bring up one thing about the moon cycle. I thought was really interesting. I had found this thing for this year. This year's 2024. So for this year, what we have is the moon cycle. Let me find it for you real quick. Here it is. The moon cycle that they talk about. And for this year, 2024, I found the full moon for each day of the month. So I found when the full moon is going to hit for each month. And let me share it with you real quick. Let me show you where it has right here. Because it's speaking on the profound effects that the moon plays with understanding how everything works, and understanding whenever the moon is full is one of the biggest times, or one of the most powerful times, where the seed is going to be at play. So let me go ahead and share this with you. Here, I want to share this one. So here we go, right here. We have, can I zoom in? Yeah. So here's and this is all in Eastern time. So I don't know where you're at, but if you understand time frames, so January 25th, 2024, you got the wolf moon, February 24th, March 25th, April 23rd, so on and so forth. And in this time, this part right here, he was speaking about also that it takes 2.5 days for it to, I guess, complete, if I'm not mistaken, if that's what he said. And during that 2.5 day period, me personally, I would say fast. The day before, the day of, and the day after. Do like a 72-hour fast. And, be in your full meditation prayer mode and also be in semen retention mode. Harness your seed, hold it in, don't let it out, you know, and not just for these 3 days, but I mean like prior leading up to it, you know, keep it, retain it, and and constantly be in full retention mode leading all the way up through all of this. Just keep it going, because now you know when the full moon is going to hit, and to fast during this 3 day period, before, day of, and after, to get the full get the full benefit, the full strength of what you're supposed to be gaining, and trying to access your high level of consciousness and thinking. So yeah, I just want to go ahead and put that out there and show that to y'all. But in the meantime, let's keep it up and let's keep going.
Holy oil in Greek. This is the story of Christ within us all. The cerebrum secretes the oil from the holy claustrum, or Santa claustrum. This region was known as the saint's claustrum in anatomical texts, or was Latinized into Santa Claus. The legend of Santa Claus is based on this inner science between Santa brings spiritual gifts down your chimney, spinal column. It's differentiated in the pineal and pituitary glands in heaven, that heaved up place where our higher faculties of awareness reside. The cranium, from the initial secretion in the cerebrum claustrum. These glands are called Joseph, pineal, and Mary, pituitary. The pineal gland produces a masculine electrical component known as honey, which contains DMT, while the pituitary gland produces a magnetic feminine element known as milk. The sacred heavens can also be found in our brains. This is the land of milk and honey, as the Bible describes. The pineal gland is connected to the Pingala nerve, while the pituitary gland is connected to the Ida nerve, also known as the Kundalini and the Kunda buffer. These nerves run all the way down the spine and tree of life. These nerves connect to the sacral plexus and sacrum areas of our bodies, lower vertebrae. They make their way through the spinal column, imitating a DNA strand. In Genesis chapter 28, verse 10, Jacob connects with God after falling asleep and placing a large stone under his head. How cozy. Contact with God occurs after the oil secreted in the head descends all the way to the stone, the 5 fused vertebrae at the base of the spine, sacral plexus. The Christos seed returns to heaven. The sacral plexus contains a powerful sexual energy that, when harvested, can transform into electrical energy that rises back into the brain. Bethlehem refers to the area between the solar plexus and the sacral plexus. When the oil is down here, it receives a low vibration, which activates it to some extent. However, without awareness, it's very likely that one will destroy the oil by having sex at the incorrect time.
So, referring to, let me go back, because he said something that was really, really, really good.
Energy that rises back into the brain. Bethlehem refers to the area between the solar plexus and the sacral plexus. When the oil is down here, it receives a low vibration, which activates it to some extent.
Oh man, hope y'all can't hear that. But he's speaking to the low vibration frequency, that so when it's down low at its lowest point, which is down in your pelvic region, the lower part of your spine, which is down in your pelvis area, and it activates, and it can activate at a low frequency. If it's activating at a low frequency, this is my opinion, the feeling we get of, the urge of wanting to release or wanting to have sex, that's going to be, my opinion, it's activating. That's letting you know, like, hey, it works. It's activating, but it's activating at a low frequency. That's when you need to retain and fight that urge and feeling, and to allow it to go up higher and higher, So you may potentially be able to feel it activate at higher levels. Just my opinion, but this is kind of like the insight I'm giving to it. Because if it's activating at a low frequency at this lowest point, then the lowest frequency, a low frequency is fear, sex, and survival mode. Those are low frequencies. So if you can rise above that feeling of the urge of sex all the time, fear, and survival, and rise that feeling up and retain your seed as well, because stress kicks in and you want to go to a vice. Everybody, you get stressed out and people go drink, they go smoke, they go fornicate, they do something that hinders this feeling because they want to numb it, they want to get rid of it. And you do get rid of it whenever you indulge in a vice. But instead of getting rid of it, sit in it. Sit in your issue, sit in your problem, get rid of your vice and allow that feeling to rise up. So now you know what you're feeling. What you're feeling is the activation of your frequencies. And if you can retain your semen and retain it and build it up and fight the urges instead of letting it be released at such a low frequency, then you'll be able to build yourself up. Again, that's my opinion, that's my outlook on it, but let's keep going to see what he talks about.
The oil is down here. It receives a low vibration, which activates it to some extent. However, without awareness, it's very likely that one will destroy the oil by having sex at the incorrect time, or contaminating the body through diet or behavior during the crucial 2.5-day period when the moon is in your sun sign. Simply put, the seed requires our intention to dissolve time's boundaries and continue where the mystery schools left off. The saint's colostrum has two functions. It either secretes Christos cerebrospinal fluid, which transports the seed back to heaven, or it secretes neuromelanin, a blackening substance secreted by the colostrum when the body, mind, or soul is polluted. The neuromelanin is the black coal Santa delivers to naughty boys and girls as it blackens the brain tissue. The God brain. When the time comes for the seed to be implanted in your sacral plexus, it's critical to refrain from releasing any precious fluids. If we squander it, we will have to wait another month. We're supposed to put some of that energy back into the system. When the oil runs out, the fleshly organism dies. This is what the Bible calls tithing.
Did you know that there is a hidden...
Ooh, wow. So we have a different meaning to the understanding of tithing. And we're not talking about a monetary gain in this case, is where they're headed, is what it sounds like. They're not talking about a monetary tithing. They're talking about an internal tithing, where one gives back to God, to a higher power, to your higher consciousness, to your purpose. Because some people who are not religious, maybe atheists, cool, what have you, that's your opinion, but at the end of the day, refer to it in a different way. If not God, then higher calling, consciousness, purpose. You're tithing back to your purpose. That's one way to look at it. Because at the end of the day, these workings are happening, whether you believe it or not. It's like for people who don't believe in, it's like somebody who, let's say you don't believe in evil. Okay, you don't have to believe in evil, but it's out there. You don't believe in, gravity. Well, what goes up must come down. Jump off the Empire State Building and see what pulls you down. You could call it density. You could say, hey, that's my weight. My weight is pulling me down. Okay, cool. But at the end of the day, regardless of what it is, it's going to affect you, is the point. So, yeah. So let's get back into it and see what they're referring to, because that's pretty interesting. Let's go.
Dies. This is what the Bible calls tithing. You must give the Lord 1/10 of the oil. The Lord's root is ore, the base mineral of gold. And there it is again. God being one letter short of gold. In all manners, this beautiful Christos fluid is alchemical gold.
I never thought about that. God is one letter short of gold. Interesting.
It's called God's serum. This practice allowed ancient masters to live longer. To some extent, living a spiritually aware life invokes this process, but we must remember that this ritual manifested thousands of years ago for a reason. When we follow the forte of our forefathers, the Reformation practice becomes exponentially more effective, especially in a world where Christian devotion is so widespread. Accept the Bible as an instruction manual for the body, this physical organism we've been given as our holiest of holy temples. What's fascinating is that the Eastern world has retained and transmuted knowledge of the beautiful chrism we all possess. Even the most basic Hindu practices include raising the kundalini and bursting the chakras in ascending order, while abstaining from sex, alcohol, and animal eating. Alcohol, the release of sexual fluids, the consumption of acidic, animal-based foods, riotous living, and hateful, angry, or otherwise non-peaceful attitudes are all detrimental to the cerebrum's beautiful, precious oil.
And that sounds like the world we live in. Riotous, anger, fear, everything that he just said is the world in which we're living in, as far as the external world that we're living in. Because every time you turn on the news, now social media, who really watches the news, depending on your age, really? I mean, the news is on your social media feed, but there's gossip, there's drama, there's fear, there's negativity. All this is structured to keep you from this. I mean, it's clear as day. You can't deny it. All of that is to keep you from this. It's your responsibility to be able to focus on the internal workings of your body, because there is an internal process that's going on, that's being done. Regardless if you believe in it, regardless if you know about it, it's happening. It's happening, and very few will attain it. Because it takes discipline, mindful thinking, positive thinking, solitude, gratitude. It takes all these things combined into one, and I was missing a few, to make this work. But it's doable. It's possible. It's not impossible. It's doable. It can happen. Because the more you know, the more you understand it. And when you feel these urges, you feel where they're coming from. And it's almost like a sign to let you know, like, okay, I'm still vibrating on a low level. Because the urge for sex is still driving me crazy. But at least I know that feeling that urge is the activation. And then the activation is letting me know where I'm at. But let's keep going.
We have 4 brains. The cerebrum is the brain of God. The cerebellum is the man brain, linked to the lower mind. The medulla oblongata is the 3rd brain, in charge of involuntary actions such as breathing. The solar plexus is the 4th brain, and is associated with the lower mind, greed, animalistic behavior, and so on. The total number of nerves in the brain and the solar plexus is 12. This secret reveals the location of the Ark of the Covenant. The Bible depicts the Ark with 2 cherubim and 2 covering angels. This is the cerebrum, which has 2 hemispheres that protect the cerebellum and the inner brain. The Ark of God, whose name is the Lord of Hosts, who sits enthroned between the cherubim that are on it. Samuel chapter 6, verse 2. When the moon is in your sun's sign, a psycho-spiritual germ is created and planted in your solar plexus, the 12-fold nerve cluster behind your stomach. The solar plexus is known as the house of bread due to its proximity to your gut. Bethlehem means house of bread in Hebrew. Virgo governs digestion, which is one of the reasons Christ was born of a virgin. All references to fish and bread in the New Testament refer to the 2,160 years zodiacal axis of time during which this version of the Bible was written, the great age of Pisces, the fish, which is directly opposing Virgo, the virgin of the yearly grains for bread and sustenance. As a result, we have fish and bread, Jesus fish symbols, and bread is eaten as the body of Christ in church ceremonies. It's all astrophysics and astrology. This germ, or seed, initiates the rising of the Christos oil that has accumulated in the sacral plexus. When properly risen, it initiates physical regeneration, blood recycling, and a profound, long-lasting illumination of the inner vision. When the oil seed is successfully returned to the cranium, as heaven awaits the return of the prodigal son, the frequency and vibration increase and the pneumogastric nerve crosses over and connects to the pineal and pituitary glands by the time it reaches the 33rd vertebrae. Jesus was crucified at 33 years old. At the point of crucifixion, Christ's oil illuminates the optic thalamus gland, also known as the light of the world. The oil seed remains in limbo, dead, for 3 days before being resurrected on the 3rd day as the moon exits your sign. This all happens at the 33rd vertebrae. Isn't it strange how everything connects? Jesus' age, the 33 degrees of Freemasonry, 11, 11, 11, and so on. Spiritual illumination. At this point, the oil accelerates in vibration to reach the pineal gland, where all of our millions or billions of dormant brain cells are activated. Our brain operates on the God brain level. This crucifixion multiplies the vibratory frequency of the oil by 1,000, corresponding to the crown chakra's 1,000-petal lotus. The Bible mentions 144,000 people sealed with the Father's name on their foreheads. If you add the number of petals from root to brow from the Hindu chakra system and multiply it by the 1,000-petal crown lotus, you get 144,000. More syncretic beauty. The Christos stimulation is a sheer and natural traditional activation of your profound spiritual self. It will help you remember what you truly are and why you are personified on a deeper level. The knowledge stored in our brain cells emerges alongside the higher faculties of simply existing. Our entire consciousness undergoes metamorphosis. What to do when the moon is in your sun sign is summarized below. Prepare up to 1, 3, or more days ahead of time to welcome the seed with even more purity. The 2.5-day period is the absolute bare minimum. Draw, paint, write, listen to, or create music. Relax. Drink plenty of fluids. Eat only vegan food. Meditate. Devote time to animals. Avoid consuming alcohol. Maintain a peaceful demeanor. Avoid sex or the release of sexual fluids. Avoid excessive eating. Pray. Consider your entire body, including your spinal column, solar plexus, brain, brain stem, pineal, and pituitary glands, preparing for the arrival of the chrism seed in your solar plexus. Visualize your spine intertwined with the kundalini and kunda buffer nerves, the tree of life, ready to carry the seed back to the heavenly cranium. The thalamus can be seen filling with light, which it may do on its own at some point during the 2.5 days. The thalamus is located in the center of the inner brain, between the pineal gland, Joseph, and the pituitary gland, Mary. Recognize the Christ seed as a psycho-spiritual germ that may appear differently to each participant, or only take one form. Practice.
Okay. That was very interesting. So understanding when the moon is in your sun sign, which I'm gonna see if I can pull something up that refers to that, because he's saying that 2.5 days is the bare minimum for you to welcome the seed in. Well, in that time, like I was saying, I said give it 72 hours, give it 3 days. Why not just do a full 3-day fast? And in that time, he said create something, whether it was drawing, art, playing music, listening to music, being with animals, being in nature, do all these different things that is going to keep you in harmony. But to my understanding and my knowledge, if you've ever fasted before, and he said drink a lot of fluids too. Me personally, I've done a fast before. I've done a few fasts in my life. Doing a fast, a dry fast and a water fast. A dry fast, which is just nothing at all, no food, no water. And then doing a water fast is just water. No fruit juice, no nothing, just strictly straight water. Nothing else. During that period, one thing that I learned is that you're going to be so in tuned and focused on your body and yourself, because you're used to satisfying yourself during that time with food. You're used to snacking. You're used to, satisfying that urge. But in that time, in that period, when you're fasting, you're going to be so focused on the fact that you're not eating, You're probably going to drink more water than usual because you're going to try to curve the feeling of being hungry. That you're going to probably gulp down a lot of water like I did, trying to satiate the feeling of hunger, but you're not. You're in tune, listen to your body, and you can feel a difference. It's a different feeling of just sitting there and being in tune with the inner workings of your body and understanding that there's a lot of powerful benefits that come into fasting, not just fat loss like the internet would tell you. You know, your body goes in and eats away at all the dead cells and all the things that is bad for it because it has nothing to go after because you're not putting anything in it. So now it actually has the opportunity to look within itself and eat away at all the bad stuff that you've been putting in your body over time, bad cells, and it's regenerating itself. It's repairing itself internally and eating away at all the bad stuff because there's nothing coming in. So now it has to turn in and look at itself and like, okay, well, what's bad in here that we can get rid of to use this energy to keep us going? And on top of that, drinking water, and try to get water that has a good pH balance. You can get pH strips on Amazon and actually check the water that you're drinking to see the pH level. I think about the healthy pH level is 7.5 enough to keep it like at an alkaline level, I believe, if that's correct. And during that time, drinking good alkaline or water at a good pH level and staying in a cool, calm, collected state. But let's find out when the moon is in your sun phase. Let's see. Let me share this screen with you because I just found this. I'm just going to read it off. There we go. So we got, what does it mean when the moon is in your sign? Oh, wait. Let me share this with you. I didn't share it. All right. So what does it mean when the moon is in your sign? You might remember from, who's this from? This was published in May 5th of 2020. So let's see what this guy has to say by Kyle. I forget his last name. You might remember from science class, the moon takes about 28 days to orbit the Earth. In astrology, that orbit includes all 12 zodiac signs, meaning the moon switches signs about every 2 to 2.5 days. And yes, of course, we feel those vibes here on Earth. Basically, you might pick up a sort of emotional current that subtly guides you. Think of it as what the mood is the world in today. What mood is the world in today? Feeling hot-headed? Moon's probably in Aries. Impulsive? It might be in Sagittarius. Sexy? Take a look. It's in Scorpio. When the moon's in your sun sign, which again happens about once a month and lasts for 2.5 days, you'll be feeling more at one with yourself. Expressing yourself should come easily. Your intuition will be stronger. You're feeling confident. You're feeling way more confident, and people might be paying more attention to you. They can just tell you that you're glowing with the moonlight. This is a good time to form agreements, make promises, or resolve issues, and assess your plans for the month ahead, and you'll likely sense that things are going well at home and in work too. Soak up those moonbeams, baby. Okay, so let's take that part right there. This is a good time to form agreements, make promises, resolve issues, and assess your plans for the moon ahead. And like he was saying earlier, millionaires do not pay attention to astrology. Billionaires do. So I think that's a good way to look at it because they see the timing of when to make the decisions and do things, and then they turn around and go back into this regeneration phase of retaining their seed, retaining their semen, and getting ready for that time to where they can make these big decisions so they can be prepared for the next month. In this time frame, they make all the big decisions and then they prepare for the next month, which is, again, this is my opinion, but when you're in tune with how the body works, then you're going to make decisions in business would be in the same way too, because you know that you're preparing for a certain time in the month to make the biggest decisions to propel you forward to the next month, or so on and so forth, as you're regenerating and rising up from the inside as well. Let's keep reading. Along with the sun sign, that's the only one decided by the date you were born. The one you say when people ask what's your sign. You also have a moon sign decided by where the moon was in the sky when you were born. When the moon returns to the position, or even just the sign it was at your birth, this is called the lunar return, and it happens about once a month. Your emotions, your intuition will be heightened, and you might feel a little bit moody. During this time, you don't want to start new projects. Instead, focus on your relationships and life at home. You'll want to feel comfy and stick to your usual patterns. However, if you're feeling irritable, consider taking some time to assess what's causing you distress so you can make changes later on. Here's what it means when the moon is in each sign. So we got, okay, so they're saying when the moon is in Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. And I know a lot of people who may be like, "Oh my gosh, who really cares about these things?" But I'm actually approaching this from a different perspective. I'm not approaching this from like a, oh, you're a, I'm a Pisces, you're a Scorpio, oh, we match, we're compatible, our relationship would be great. That's not where we're coming at this from. This is not that approach. Its approach is understanding, know thyself, understanding the inner workings of yourself. So you'll have a better understanding as to how to navigate day by day and what's coming every single month to prepare for it. So therefore you can make the best decision and also bring in the best regeneration for the seed that's going to drop within you if you prepare to retain your seed along the way. So I'm a Pisces, so we're going to go and we're going to read this, and I'm pretty sure if you read this, it's going to be somewhat the same for all the others, but hey, let's see. When the moon's in Pisces, it's all about fantasy. You're feeling creative, dreamy, and maybe a bit out of touch with the world. Dive into an art project, listen to your intuition. Schedule some alone time for self-reflection and healing, or just a restorative nap. That sounds great. Your dream will probably be amazing. Watch out for getting too caught up in your own world, though. We all need some solitude, but don't shut your friends out. I will shut friends out. Don't you worry about that. Okay, so here's what it means when the moon's your sun sign. Okay. Huh. Interesting. So when the moon is in your sun sign. Okay, so now let's try to figure out, when is the moon in the sun sign? So let's see. Let's see if we can figure out, when is the moon in your sun sign. The moon in your sun sign. So let's see. We're going to find it. When the moon is in your sun sign, which again happens about once a month and lasts for 2.5 days, you'll be feeling more at one with yourself. Okay, we just read that already. How do you find out when the moon is in your sun sign? Okay, so here we go. We're going to get to it. To find your sun, moon, and rising, go to a birth chart calculator like this one and enter your exact time of birth, like to the minute. None of this. I was born in the morning star. Oh, okay. It says like to the minute. None of the I was born in the morning birth date and place of birth. Once you found your big tree, read below to find out what each placement means. So you need to figure out this is what this is saying. What time you were born. And I think that's on your birth certificate. If you have a birth certificate, I think you actually know what time you were born. I believe I was born in the morning. I just don't know what time. Whoops. I'm just not sure what time I was born in the morning, but I do know I was born in the morning. So if you have your birth certificate, you can probably figure it out. Let's see what different placements mean. So to sit down and figure out your moon sun sign, or when the moon is in your sun sign, then you would go to, let's find the calculator. And if I can find the zodiac calculator terms to know, then I'll show it to you guys. So you can go out and do your own research on your own. So let's see here. Before we know details, you need to know some key terms. All right, so what does placement means? All right, so let's see. Let me go back to this real fast and get straight to it. Sorry for the dead time. Moon sign calculator. Is it moon sign or when the moon is in your sun sign? How do you find out when the moon sign from your sun? Find your moon sign from your sun sign. Huh. You know what? I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not sure, and I don't want to keep wasting too much time while I'm live trying to figure this out for you. However, with all the information that I just gave you guys and everything, I'm pretty sure you can go back and research and find out for yourself when the moon is in your sun sign. I think I've given you enough of what it is, but just want to go ahead and put this video out there for today and get a good understanding as to the inner workings of your body and give you something to focus on every single day. So at times when you kind of don't know what to do with life, this should give you a good outlook and something that can help you achieve your goals and actually have goals that you attain. Have a aim that you're aiming towards. Whether it's a new job, a new business, something that you're trying to do on social media, e-com store, YouTube channel, something. Focus on that as well as you're doing this and pursue that to give you some kind of goal to pursue and have a system in place. Have a morning routine. Have a time when you wake up in the morning, and every time you wake up in the morning, do some stretches. Do like some light stretch work. Loosen your body up. Open up your body. Sit down. Pray. Meditate. Whichever one you choose to do, or do both. And then schedule out your day. If you have kids, you take the kids to school, go to gym, go to work, whatever, vice versa. Have it works. And if you don't have kids, you can go full throttle. Okay. With that being said, hopefully this gave somebody some kind of outlook on life and a better understanding as to what they can do and how to get more fulfillment or do something in a deeper meaning in life as opposed to what we're taught and what we see every single day, day in and day out. Everybody's always trying to tell you chase money, which is cool. And that's the hustle culture that we're in. However, work on the internal work and you will have wealth and all that great stuff as well in all aspects. You'll be rich spiritually, you'll be rich physically, you'll be rich mentally, you'll be rich financially, all across the board. And it's not just one area, it's going to be all the areas. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in. Click the like button on the way out. If you have any comments or questions or anything like that, put them in the comment section. Until next time, thank y'all for being here. Peace out.